Okay.
We good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go. So,
That's
live.
Spike.
Hello, and welcome back to the Brett and Drew podcast.
The Bad Podcast.
The Bad Cast. Today we have a special guest, dear to our hearts, Chris Demers.
Hello, friends. Great to be on. The podcast thing is going to be weird. Like, I'm talking to this camera. I mean, I'm talking to you guys, but, like...
You're talking to the
I'm
internet,
talking to
bro.
Not even there.
I'm talking to all the internet. That's the scary part.
Well, welcome
Andy's
back.
here.
Andy?
Andy Compandy. First
he's
shout
on
out.
live.
Dude, shout out to Andy.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Andy.
I know, he's going to be over later. He's
Hell
going.
yeah.
Him and Vinny are going to just rage tonight.
Dude, Fridays are so fun. I love Fridays.
Dude, absolutely. Hey, we didn't even do the introduction. Episode 2.
Episode 2.
I'm going to try to start time stamping them in the beginning every
let's
time.
get this puppy rolling.
So,
I
Friday,
feel like I'm about to run.
September 29th, 8:05 p.m., episode 002 of the Bad Podcast. I'm Drew.
And I'm Brett.
I'm Chris, and I'm number 2.
Number 2.
Welcome back. Always fun.
Always fun.
Yeah, so I want to start this out with how I break the ice with people that I meet for the first time. And it's I ask them something that pisses them off and why. And I want to either try and like have you convince me that it pisses me off as well, or I can like kind of make you see the other side of it, you know? So what do you think is something that pisses you
Dude, I
off?
already got it for you.
Fucking playing games with us, Chris?
What pisses you off, Brett?
Dude, it pisses me off when people will like act reactively instead of acting proactively. So like, just say you're like reaching for something, like they're basing their entire being off you instead of just like going and grabbing it. And if you bump hands, like, oh well, they're like they're like oh like that really.
So more
annoys
of
me.
like a follower. In a way?
Exactly.
Like when you're like walking towards someone in a hallway and you both like go the same direction and it's like just back and forth.
They see themselves as like a passive entity. Like they don't see life as like something that like they don't see themselves as an active like participant in this game. They don't see the world as something that they can
Manipulate
change
for
and
themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're more of a fixed mindset than a growth. But like, don't you think that the world needs those kind of people in a way? Because like, not everybody can be a leader.
It does, dude. It needs the
corn
followers.
shuckers.
Yeah. But like, sometimes it's awesome to have a group that has a leader or has a couple distinguished leaders, and then those that are like down to follow in a way. Like you know that we have a couple friends, like they're always down to ride. Like they might not hit you up like let's go hiking, but if you invite them hiking, like they're in. I don't know, like not everybody needs to be a leader.
Because, dude, if you have an entire group of leaders, like everybody's just gonna butt heads.
Yeah.
Like you need agreeable people, and you need some non-agreeable people who are like, no, dude, this is what we're gonna do.
And a true difficulty is for the leaders to sometimes like go to the lower level and like sacrifice and not sacrifice really, but to understand or like go with the follower. Like it's good to give them the empowerment sometimes too.
I was about to say, I feel like in a group of all leaders, everyone kind of takes turn being the leader in different aspects that they're good at. Like I think back to the day you and Brian and I were walking through the woods where there was no like alpha of the group, and it was kind of just we all took turns like pushing a direction.
That was a fun day.
Yeah.
When we ended up in that field.
And we were wounded.
Yeah, that was. I'm good on that. That was the day of the day after our hard longboard falls, and we just like trekked through the woods with like a camelback and some gear. That was a sick day.
Let's tell the viewers about that longboard fall. To anyone who might not know.
That was tragic. I still have wounds from it.
So we're all sitting in Maine, and Drew says, he comes up, he goes, do you want to go for longboard? And I go, yeah, sure. So I just sit in my hammock, and then all of a sudden Brian comes up and he goes, hey, can I use your longboard? And I was being very agreeable, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want a longboard anyway, so go ahead.
Some leader.
Yeah, so they walk off, and like Chris, Drew, and Brian leave, and I'm just thinking, okay, they're going for a little longboard, and I'll let them take over from here because I wasn't there. They walk down the driveway and they're gone.
It started pretty calm. Like we did a couple of the smaller mountains, like the smaller hills, and we were going fast down them. It was a lot of fun. We got like good GoPro footage, but then we start going the other way down the road, and we see this big mama, And we couldn't even skate up it. We had to walk up it. And then when we get to the top of the peak, and there's a second peak, and we're like, well, we might as well just go to the top of that one. So, Drew, finish it.
This was all huge hill. This is by far the largest hill I've ever boarded down, and it looked much smaller than it was when you look at it from the bottom. But as we're trekking up it, we get about halfway up, and we're all kind of looking at each other like, oh, you guys still think this is a good idea? But we're all in it, and we're all trying to be leaders at the moment. So we're just like, oh yeah, we'll make it. This is fucking easy. Walk in the park. We get to the top, and we realize it's not the top. There's another like sub hill, and it just kind of curves off and keeps going. So we're like, fuck, well, we already made it this high. We better go to the real top. So we go all the way to the top of this hill, and we're looking down from the top of the hill. We couldn't even see the bottom, the landing zone of where we were going to be. And we're all just kind of looking at each other, and we're like, fuck, we're not going to make it. Or I think Brian said you said one of us is going to eat shit.
Oh, I have it on the GoPro. I was like, one of us is about to eat shit. And Brian goes, probably Drew. And I said, I'm not going to talk shit because then I'll have to eat my words. And then both Drew and I went down. And keep in mind, at the bottom of this mountain, there's a 4-way intersection. And where it's in Maine, like in the backwoods, so we didn't think anyone would come, but like it's just that added risk. But anyways, we start going, and I went first because I had the camera, and I was like, all right, guys, like let's start it off. And by the time we got halfway down the first part, not even the second, I was like, this is a lot of speed. Like this is the most speed I've ever had. And then we carve, and it got to the point where we could not carve anymore, and I absolutely just got the worst speed wobbles of my life and just nailed pavement. And as I'm sliding, the camera goes down, everything's like across the street. My board goes in front of Drew, and Drew falls, and he literally slammed like harder than I have ever seen, and he skipped down the hill. Like he hit and he just like skipped down. It was so brutal. And we got up and we just look at each other and we're just like shaking with adrenaline. It was exhausting. And then we had to spend the night in hammocks. And it was just like cocooned in our wounds. It was terrible.
So here I am. I'm still sitting in the hammock. I'm just thinking they're out for a peaceful skateboard. And all of a sudden I see them coming back down the driveway. I go, oh, what's up, boys? And then I look closer and they're like limping. They're like in pain. And then as they get closer, I just see red all over their arms and their hips. And their pants are pulled down a little bit so that it's not like on the extreme open wound. And I'm just like, oh my God, the situation went from like 0 to 100 like instantly. It was scary to be on the other end of it.
It was scary to be there. It was scary
I'm
to
sure,
be,
dude.
like, when you got halfway down the hill, once you start getting the speed wobbles, you're 95% sure that you're going down, and you've just got all your might to try to save it. You're like, fuck, well, I can't bail right now. I have to try to at least make it down to the bottom. And I saw Chris go down, and I was like, oh man, this might be it. I see the board shoot out in front of me, and as soon as I tried to turn out of the way, I just got tossed off. But yeah, it was a great moment.
It kind of gets to the point where you're just looking for your best fall, like the way to go down the softest. And on either side of the road were like gullies with rocks and stuff. So like the best place was the concrete.
Yeah, like I'm going to fall. Where should I fall?
I didn't even have time to look.
He just fell.
Before I was still in the mode of trying to make it to the bottom when I fell. So I had no time to calibrate. I was just on the ground in no time.
Now, how far did you skid? Like on your back?
I don't even know, man. I wasn't on my back. I hit my hip. I landed square on my hip. And it bounced me back up into the air, and I, like Chris said, I skipped. And when I landed again, I landed on my elbow first and then my shoulder, and I kind of slid down on my shoulder. So
did either of you guys like think about your mortality? Like when you're like, were you like, holy shit, like this is like?
No,
I thought I broke something.
I was thankful that nothing. Like I didn't care. I wasn't that mad because there's like nothing's broken. It's not a real injury. It's just some cuts.
We could have lost all our teeth though.
Yeah, imagine we got that road rash on our face. We would be ugly.
Literally. You guys still got scars.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, mine like keeps bubbling up and scabbing. It's disgusting. Ooh. You guys have probably seen on my Snapchat.
It's been how long since that happened?
We went there the third week in August?
Wow. Yeah.
So we're talking over a month. It's been like 5 weeks.
My boss just asked me today how I was healing, and I showed her the scars, and mine actually healed like surprisingly well and like quickly. But they scarred like pretty heavy. You can see the spot on my hip where there were open wounds, and you can see that my shoulder is completely discolored. It's a completely different color than the rest of my skin. I mean, it's going to take a couple summers worth of tanning to get that skin back to normal.
It's funny because when I got the firework burn, I got like the doctor gave me this like anti scar cream, and I totally just put it away. I was like, I want the scars. I want to look badass. And like literally, they totally went away. I was so sad because it was only like on my hand and my knee, like places where it's not that like it's a little story to have. It's a
deep scars are kind of cool,
right?
Like, I mean, it depends where it is and what it is,
it's a
but
shark bite.
Yeah, but some of them. A lot of them, like, they come with the story. It's like having a tattoo in a way. Like, when you have a tattoo, you're like, oh, what does that mean? You're like, oh, how the hell did you get that?
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
It was 4 a.m. in Vegas. I just got married.
Oh, man. And Drew, do you have anything that pisses you off?
Anything that pisses me off? Yeah, a lot of things that piss me off. But I'd say to kind of piggyback off of your point of people who, like, won't be leaders, I think there's also truth in, like, the inverse of that, where people who grasp onto that power of leadership and hold on to it too strongly and become dictators, where like their leadership becomes
the tyrant.
Like, the tyrant. Like the leader soon becomes a tyrant if they don't check themselves, you know? And that totally happens. I see it in the workplace and I see it in real life all the time.
A big part of that is like something needs to humble them, I feel. Like they need to realize that they're not God. Like they're not this figure of strength in every aspect, like because people have their weaknesses
and they have to literally put themselves in someone else's shoes. Like sometimes people don't even think about that. Like they never even think about how it's perceived.
You see that in people that rise to fame really quickly, like Jake Paul,
Jay Beebs.
Jay Beebs, I'm actually surprised. Like I feel like he went off the track for a little while and kind of went crazy, but like fuck, the kid was like how old when he started getting famous? Like 13?
He's 13, 14.
Yeah, like that's got to have a crazy effect on your psyche.
Just all of a sudden having hundreds of millions of dollars and like
I never really hated him. You know, it was more like I hated the way that people treated him. Like people would like throw themselves at this kid. And I don't know, to me that's gross to have an idol like that. Like when someone like girls when they're like, "Oh my god." Like that's so gross to me.
Worship, dude.
Yeah.
There's something like really eerie about worship. That's the word that always bothered me in religion. Like when I was being raised Catholic, just that word worship sounded dirty to me. That like it's not even like I can see having something that you idolize and that you really try to follow a path, but to worship something like completely and unquestionably is crazy. Like people that, if you want to like put it to politics, people that like worship Donald Trump and refuse to see any of his negative aspects. Like I can totally see someone supporting him for some of his policies and just being a Republican, so that's who they will, go with. But to worship someone without a doubt and to not question anything they say is definitely dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Now,
That's the beginning of a cult.
What do you think about worshiping like something bigger? Like say like how Native Americans will worship like the sun as their god because it's a much more like practical god, like it literally gives you life.
I think there's beauty in it, but I also think at the same time that worship, and I can't speak for like an ancient Native American culture, but I don't know necessarily if they're getting anything out of that worship.
You don't think? I feel like they're getting meaning.
They might be.
Meaning in their lives, and that's something we're missing nowadays.
Can you find meaning through other avenues though?
You can't fake your way to meaning.
No, certainly not.
I feel like you need to truly comprehend something. Not comprehend, but begin to comprehend something so much bigger. And you're just a speck on this thing, and you are completely at the whim of the universe.
Absolutely. I can see that, where like I am obviously, if you want to use the sun example, super grateful for the sun. Without the sun, I'd be dead.
Sun's my dude.
I'm not gonna go outside every morning and get on my knees and like throw my hands into the air and like just worship this ball of fire.
Maybe if you like started dedicating like every day to like I was literally just reading some Carl Jung and he was talking about how like the Pueblo Indians like they say their job every day is to help the sun get across the sky, and like in order to do that they have to like be the best person that they can, and like.
But in a way, that's religion, and religion oftentimes stems from ignorance. Like, they didn't understand how the sun worked.
Absolutely.
So, like, you create a religion. That's how, like, God of the sea or whatever. Like, Poseidon.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't understand it, so you're like, holy shit, like the boat got capsized, like Poseidon was pissed, like you did something wrong.
It's like a you get something and you lose something. Like it's like ignorance. It's kind of the ignorance is
Maybe
bliss
respect.
thing. Yeah, like you get that meaning. You get that like wow, like that fire in your gut because this is truly what you believe. But also you don't. I wonder if you can like mediate between those two, where like you see the greater picture, but you also.
I think so. I think that's the most beautiful midway between them. Is finding that halfway point between worship and like complete ignorance, you know?
Or completely seeing through it in a way.
Yeah, like just disregard.
But if you see through it, how can you like truly feel it? Like there's no getting around it, I feel.
I really love the way that the Indians live.
Me too.
Like that's
Native Americans.
Yeah, my bad. But that's kind of a way to lead your life in like a natural form. Like that's my favorite way, is just to be natural. Like when I want to learn natural remedies and medicines, that's like the cool thing to me.
Yeah, especially dude, because there's so many that are real. There's so many that actually have an impact, but then how do you sort through like the bogus ones, you know?
Yeah. But I like the way that they're able to manipulate plants and things to heal them instead of just like popping a pill. And it's like,
dude, I love that. That's in like Eastern culture as well, like
pill.
Chinese, like like ancient like Chinese or like Japanese, where they're like they'll have like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like an apothecary, like someone who
Jesus Christ, what is that word? Like, I don't know the word.
Flock I knock on nil hill vilification.
Did you just make up a word?
No, an apothecary is someone who deals with like natural remedies, like you're saying, and like they'll be like, oh, like I don't know, my back hurts, and I'll be like, oh, like take this like ginger root or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Dude,
like
roots
that.
taste disgusting. Have you ever heard turmeric?
No.
Turmeric is my parents put it in their smoothies every morning. It's like the grossest tasting thing. You just got to cover it with banana. Like, just
What about Uncle Carrot?
Uncle
carrot.
Carrot.
Those are gross. They taste like
rugged.
dirt. Like nothing like eating some dirt.
Oh, do you remember that? We had a salad and it was just raw carrot.
We
in
put
it.
way too many carrots.
And
in
it was so and everything was, there was like strawberries
Fruit
and like
salad with
tomatoes
carrots.
and like blueberries, and it was all delicious. And then you get to the carrot and it was just like so like heavy. I remember I sat there and ate every carrot in it. I was like, this is my burden to bear before I get these like sweet treats.
At the end, we looked at everyone's bowls, and it was just orange bottoms. Like, no one touched the carrots.
I don't want them.
I remember I was like, I've finally finished. I can finally start the salad.
I can do carrots if they're shredded, like
Yeah.
the little ones.
I was about to say, the problem was that we didn't like shred them into the salad. We were just like
Yeah.
chopping them into these huge
They're
chunks.
thick.
And cooked carrots are even worse. Like, that texture is just
Really?
like, it's
I
like
don't
baby
like that,
formula.
that mush.
But for some reason with mashed potatoes, it's cool. Like the mush is all right because you expect it. Like you expect the carrot to have like that nice
that
chomp.
crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to bite into a carrot and then it just completely like sinks through like mush, dude. That's like in the natural world, that's supposed to be like a rotten food item, you know?
True.
Like you bite into it and you're like, oh, like it just fell apart.
But when you bite into a cooked potato and it's hard at all, it's like, ugh, like this is gross. Like you want that softness.
Yeah. It's your expectations of the food, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, very true.
The other day, Jenna made me a sweet potato, just like in the microwave as a snack. And I was just looking, I was like, this is the weirdest snack I've ever had. Like, just a bunch of butter on it.
Ooh.
I
You ever
guess-
put any cinnamon?
I guess it's good if you have fluff or like marshmallow on it and caramel. It's supposed to be like
What?
a dessert. Yeah.
Wow.
A potato dessert.
I've been fucking around. Mom's like,
been
what
eating
kind of
cookies.
potato you want? I'm like, I'll have a dessert potato.
The worst kind of potato. Like potato and sugar. Please.
Dude, I read that like, because I usually eat the skin of like a baked potato last.
Isn't that the best part?
Yeah, it's like actually the most nutrient filled.
Yeah.
And I looked it up and it's totally not like that for sweet potatoes. Like there's literally no point in eating the
Really?
skin. Yeah.
Jenna told me not to. I was like, that's where all the good stuff is. I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, that's how I
She's
thought.
like, don't touch that.
Yeah.
Yo, I did the 5K Carver loop. It definitely is just around a 5K.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I love it because you get to go around the entire pond.
It was pretty. It was like an early morning.
You guys run around the whole pond?
Well, no, you can't do
Okay.
like the U.
Yeah.
But you leave here, you go left towards the private property, you go towards like the tree with the carvings, and then you come back, and I ran it in 22 minutes, so it's like just
Literally.
around a 5K.
Yeah. Like you basically run the horseshoe pattern. You go in and immediately bear left, go up the entire left side where the climbing tree is, come back around, go all through the little nooks and crannies of the right-hand side. I guess right hand if you're entering from the main entrance, and then you just loop back and go, back to our house, and it equals out to be at like about a 5K.
I saw Brian.
Did you?
Yeah, he was smoking.
I love Brian. Dude, I think Carver Pond needs a shout out to our Bridgewater friends who've never seen it.
I cannot believe people have never gone. I remember when I first got here, Carver Pond. I live next to Carver in Mass, and I was like, you guys run all the way to Carver? That's like 25-minute drive.
Yeah, dude. So many people would be like, "Oh, do you guys want to go to Carver?" And I'd be like, "What do you mean Carver? We're in Bridgewater. I can go all the way to Carver." And be like, "No, Carver Pond.
We should have a fire there before it gets too cold."
We should have a fire in our backyard, dude. We haven't had any fires."
Yeah, very true. We've been slacking.
A lot of people just don't. They just stay in the dorms, though. Stay on campus. Like, they don't realize how much nature is right around here. Like, the trails, Carver Pond.
Farmland.
There's
so
something
much.
so, like, relaxing and just, like, relieving.
A lot of people don't like nature, dude.
I don't think that's true. I think that the people who don't like nature haven't had enough of it.
Exactly.
Like, a
They've
lot
been
of city
uncomfortable.
kids, they don't even know. And, like, you guys know Darren.
Yeah.
We brought Darren to Carver Pond. I brought him after class, and we climbed a tree, and he's like, holy shit, like, you guys come out here and do this stuff? I'm like, I grew up in this, and he's like, I would never, ever climb a tree. And now he's, like, into it. It's just like you need to introduce people, and they realize how natural it is for them.
Dude, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that most of the people that I've met at Bridgewater, we have a lot of students from, like, Brockton and Boston here, and most of the people from those areas that I've talked to, they're genuinely uncomfortable in the woods because they've never been exposed to it. Whereas someone like you or I, we would probably be more uncomfortable in the city because we have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea how to get around.
I hate the city.
Yeah, I really feel completely I'm a total stranger in the city.
But like someone that's listening right now from a city would be like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You don't hate the city. You're just uncomfortable there. It's like the inverse.
I hate it because so many people, like, I can visit a city, but I could never live in it. After 2 or 3 days, I have to get out. It's like I go crazy.
I've never stayed more than like 6 hours.
That might be something with, like, the loneliness in the woods. Like, I hate how busy it is, but somebody else who lives in the city might hate how calm it is outside. Because I remember when I was a kid, my friend got, like, a stepbrother. His mom remarried, and they were from Rockland, which is, like, kind of city, and he'd be so scared to, like, walk the streets in Rochester. He was, like, petrified, and he's like, it's dark and there's woods. And then I remember we went to visit him, and we were going through the city, and we were like, we're gonna get robbed. Like, this is so, like, it's just, you just need to get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to, like, encounter a coyote or, like, someone who, like, wants to actively do you harm?
Yeah.
I would much rather encounter a coyote.
We always say the scariest thing in the world, scariest animal is a human.
Yep.
Like, if you're in the middle of the woods, you see a bear, you're like, oh, the bear's supposed to be here. Like, obviously, like, stay away. But if you see a human just alone, you're like, what the fuck is this dude
Because
doing?
humans are, like, the only animal capable of evil, I feel. Like, a bear will eat you, but it's just eating. You're just meat to it.
You know what it's gonna do. If you see an animal, like if you see a bear or a wolf, you know that they're programmed to either attack you or defend whatever property they're around. There's basically only a couple options that they could pursue. But like you see, like the dark silhouette of a human standing at the end of a trail, you have no idea what's going through their mind. You have no idea what their intentions are. There could be more of them. You have no idea what's going on.
What was that?
23 minutes, my camera shut off.
Mine's still on at 28. I wouldn't mess with. I don't know if that's a true statement though. I feel like if an animal has the ability to think and has consciousness, then it could be evil. Because, like, maybe we just don't understand the thinking patterns of them, but there's definitely rogue bears that just want to fuck shit up.
Very true. They're just bloodthirsty.
Like, think about if all it takes to go crazy, I guess, obviously if you're born with it, but if stuff just kept going wrong in your life, and, like, imagine if you're a mother and, like, your cubs get mauled and everything starts to go to
Yeah.
shit, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm getting back at this world.
I question if they can even like process that.
You think?
though. I don't know.
I think
Oh, of course.
I think they can be like I've only gotten bad in my whole life. Like,
I don't think they're consciously thinking of it, but I truly believe that if a creature has been dealt bad hands for most of its life, then it's gonna be more defensive. Not even defensive. I think it'll truly have an impact on the overall nature of that creature.
to me, there's a real conscious factor to evil, though. Like, even if like it doesn't trust people and it's mean and like defensive, that's still unconscious. Like, there's something about a person who says like life is meaningless and I'm going to hurt people because it's meaningless. I want to inflict suffering.
I feel like it's the same thing though, where they may have arrived at that conclusion because they've had such a shit life. You know, like if you adopt like a rescue dog that's been savagely beaten or forced to fight, it's been programmed to have that instinctive nature to just go at you. Where I think the same thing might happen in humans. I feel like
wow,
yeah,
you flipped that. I thought. See, at first I thought you were gonna say, oh yeah, there goes yours. I got you.
hold that
keep
thought.
going with that thought, because I don't know what you said. What about dolphins though? Dolphins rape for
I don't know shit about dolphins.
dolphins rape for fun. Like, dolphins are the other animal that have sex for pleasure and they rape.
Is that thunder?
I think it's Bobby moving stuff upstairs. Shut up.
No, but at first I thought you were gonna say that it was like a conscious thing for a fighting dog. Like, it's consciously doesn't trust people and stuff. But then you flipped it and you said it's an unconscious thing for a human who does evil.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I were raised in like a crack house and people were coming in trying to like fuck up my day all the time, I'd probably be a much harder person, and I might not give people the chances in life that I typically do. I feel like your start in life and your progression through life has a huge impact on who you become.
But there's that free will factor.
Totally.
Where like there's not that free will factor in humans. Where like you could be raised in an orphanage and you could just be like, no, I'm not letting this define me. Where like a dog can't do that. A dog is just like almost an automatic.
Yeah.
It's more of like just a function.
Very true. Yeah.
So what's the difference? The prefrontal cortex?
I think so. It's that.
And
it's that
are
ability.
humans like the only one?
I feel like
the
it's that
only
ability to abstract.
It's the thumbs.
It's the thumbs, dude.
I'm gonna do
I'm
evil.
getting out of here.
I wish we had monkey feet. I wish we could had thumbs.
I'd trade in my stupid human feet for monkey feet in a second.
Would
Think
be
so?
a lot slower though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to run, dude.
Yeah, but I'd be able to swing through trees while you fuckers are running across the ground like losers.
I'll just get you in one tree and then we'll just like surround you. You'll never be able to get away.
Why are we fighting? We can be friends.
True. I don't want my kids breeding with your kids' monkey feet, dude.
Oh, dude. Do you think monkeys can intentionally do harm? Because we've watched those gibbons.
100%.
Yeah. So then your thing is
But
evil.
they're primates.
I have seen apes.
But you said
fling
humans are the
poop at
only-
grandmothers.
Oh, true.
Because like we watched that gibbon video. That thing's like, if I could understand a monkey laughing, that thing is laughing, and it's just like ripping at the dog and biting it, and like the dog's getting pissed, and it just wants to fuck with it.
Yeah. See, this is where I wish we had like a TV there where we could like just show people gibbons or show them like you guys falling on the hill and
Give it
stuff
time,
like that.
dude.
You can drop links. That's what I think you
Yeah.
should do. Like if you want to see this hilarious video, like.
We could do it in post-production.
True. Just like click here and like.
But then you can put it on YouTube.
True.
That's what I'm saying.
True.
So you're like, right now, if you're if you want to watch this, it's in the comment or whatever. Comments or.
It's just on our channel. It's like.
True.
But we could just link them right there.
Yep. Because we could also link once it's out, the video of our scars from the crash, and the video of the crash. We have that. It goes from like the longboard to the pavement, and that's it.
And then it's just sliding.
Yeah. But you
I
see
know.
the speed, like 35 miles an hour or something.
Yeah.
We were flying.
I don't know if I'm ready to relive that yet.
Ooh. Dude, I think I was the most thankful out of everybody. I was like, thank God they're good. Thank God their heads are okay. Thank God the bones are okay. Everybody's intact.
Oh, we never
Like,
even
it's just-
talked about how smart Brian was.
It's just surface. How is he smart?
He saw us go down and he just like
Stopped.
he dragged his foot the whole way.
Yeah.
Because, like, if one of us had broken something, Brian would have been there to help.
He's like, I can do it.
That's the thing. We don't know his intentions. He might have seen us fall and been like, ha ha, suckers. Like, I am not going to be the one that falls.
I know.
But I don't think Brian's a person of evil intent. Shout out, Brian. Let me know.
Brian, you're capable of pure evil, buddy.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys a video of, I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but it's a black and white photo. And there's a blue dot in the middle of the screen, and you look at it, let the blue dot long enough, and then it flashes to the picture, and you can see color in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
It's, like, one of the coolest things, because it just makes you think about what else we're missing as humans. Like, what else we think is just reality from our perception, and it's all lie. Like, it's just the way we take it in.
Objective versus subjective, dude.
Yeah, but I guess because enough humans are taking it in, then it is our, like, it
That's
is true.
just it, dude.
It is.
It's like that Pink Floyd song. It's like time. It's like all that you see and all that you touch is all you'll ever know, or something like that.
Perception is reality.
Perception is reality, man.
And I guess we have 3 primary colors because we have 3 cones in our eye.
Yep.
But birds have 4.
Really?
And birds are able to see a 4th color and, like, patterns in color. And I guess one lady was born with a 4th cone. And she was like, you guys don't know what you're missing out.
Man,
I don't know if it's true, but
Wow.
they were talking about it in my class, and I was like, that bitch.
She's like, I'm seeing Flurple. You ain't even seen it yet.
But everything, I guess, is, like, imperfect to her. Like, she
Wow.
looks at a paint job, and she's like, ew. Like,
I think mantis shrimps have like 16.
oh my
They can see
gosh.
so many more colors.
Dude, those things are crazy. They crack tanks. They, like, hit so
Yeah.
hard. Like,
What are they? I've never seen
it's
these.
like a thick shrimp, dude. And it's, like, tons of different
How
colors.
deep in the ocean? Because I wonder
Deep.
if that affects... Yeah, they must need more cones to
I
see in
think
the
deep.
dark
It's
or
actually a
something.
reef thing. I don't know.
They have these like hammer arms that they discharge at the same rate of like a gun firing, and they use it to crack open like clamshells, other animals in the sea. They pummel them, dude.
Dude, it
They're
moves
like boxers.
It moves so fast that it creates a vacuum around its hands, and it actually like reaches the temperature of the surface of the sun, I think.
Oh
Just in
my
like the
gosh.
littlest, tiniest little bit. It's insane.
It's a jumbo shrimp.
There's videos on YouTube of them just like literally smashing open tanks, though.
Like, you try and keep them in tanks?
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
reef keepers are nuts, man. If it exists down there, they're like, I'm gonna keep that.
I saw a video of a crab that was trying to defend itself from this thing, and it like put its claw out against the mantis shrimp, and the mantis shrimp just like punched the claw and it shattered. It disintegrated into a bunch of pieces, and the crab just was like, oh shit, dropped the claw. Like, it literally just dropped its own arm and tried to get away, and the thing just ate it.
Wasn't that a meme for a while? The mantis shrimp.
Oh yeah, there was the oatmeal comic on it.
That was it. The mantis shrimp.
The most badass warrior of the sea.
Yup.
Things are crazy.
I would give that to octopuses, or what are
I
they?
think it's octopuses.
Octopi.
For a while,
Octopi.
people were saying it was octopi, but I think it's also grammatically correct to say octopuses.
Octopuses. Those things are. I would not want those in a tank in my house.
Dude, my grandmother, her friend used to work at this aquarium, and all the crabs were going missing overnight, and they installed a security camera, and what was happening was the octopus in one of the tanks, it was lifting up its grate on the top, sliding it, crawling out of the tank and plopping onto the ground, walking across the pet store, and like just crawling into the crab tank, eating a couple crabs, and then going back into its own tank afterwards, and just literally they close the lid back in on its tank. Those things are smart.
Yeah, that's literally the premise of Finding Nemo 2.
Yeah.
It is. Like that. That's one sly little octi.
They learn from watching. I saw this video. They did a study on octopuses, and they basically put a crab inside of a mason jar and dropped the mason jar into this tank. And the octopus didn't know how to open the jar. But then they put the tank next to another tank of an octopus that had been trained to open the jar, and that octopus saw the other one open the jar, and the next time they put the jar in with the original octopus, he opened it in a second. They learn from watching others. They're much smarter than we think.
There's so much that like we underestimate other animals.
Absolutely, dude.
And it's so great. Like I want to know what they think, but I don't know if we'll ever be able to. Like a huge part of it is facial recognition, and so like we don't see morality or like pain or anything like that in fish because we can't recognize they might not even make a face, but they can still feel pain. And like that's a big part of why I'm not cool with catch and release fishing, because like you're yanking this thing by the face and you're like, oh, it's fun, like I'm just gonna put it back. Like, do you want to hook in your face and get yanked and like fight and you're scared shitless?
Dude, you went with the fish there, but I actually want to go back to the whole facial recognition thing. I saw a study where at first they were testing chimps and bonobos for like their ability to facial recognize, but they were showing them human faces and like of happy people and of sad people, and nothing was firing. And so they concluded, they were like, okay, they aren't as social, they don't have those same mirror neurons. But then I think it was Franz de Waal, and he was like, no, we have to show them other chimps. And as soon as they did, but like same exact reaction.
It's the same thing with humans and ethnicities. Or like,
exactly.
It's hard for us to recognize Asians from one another, as it probably is for them to recognize us from one another. And that's why oftentimes in like murder cases or something, it'll be like two different black guys will be like, that was it, that was the one. Yeah. And then it ends up being like two guys who just looked alike. Yeah. It's like the person wasn't trying to like accidentally and whatever.
And they just want to like stamp the case closed so they can stop worrying about it.
Yeah. They might not even look alike, but they put some white dude in the lineup, and they're like, all right, here's 3 white dudes, 2 black dudes who did it, and they're like, oh, the same. Yeah. Without even like a second thought. But yeah, people, I think I was in Stephen Cabral's class when he was talking about this, how humans identify in groups. So it's in our nature, and it's like really hard for people to kind of push that boundary and get out of your own group and start associating, especially if you weren't raised among people that are different than you, you know?
Like if you live in a homogenous group, like we live in a melting pot. But like if you only saw people who look just like you, and then all of a sudden like...
It's like when Justin Wren went to Africa and Congo, like all these people are grabbing his beard and stuff. They're like, I've never seen a white man before. Like, imagine if we've never seen a race before. Yeah. It'd be like seeing snow for the first time. It'd be crazy.
Dude, that's insane. A lot of people have never seen snow. Like, we've just grown up with it. Like, I was thinking how it's funny how we have, like, summer, fall, winter, spring. We have 4 seasons, but some places only have, like, the rainy season and the dry season.
Yeah. That's terrible. And we have clothes for every season. Like, my winter jacket, my fall
Don't wear
hoodie.
White after Labor Day.
My summer salmon shorts.
It makes it a lot harder for us to dress. Like I have to have we all do have to have like a thick wardrobe. Other people are like, my shorts, my other shorts. They're so lucky. But I think that
shorts all year.
Shorts. I think that I would pick this over having nice all the time.
Me too.
You need to change.
Yeah.
Like when it becomes fall, I'm like, ooh, I like how it's getting cool.
It keeps you grounded, dude. The cold, like the little bit of struggle. It's not a struggle. We got warmth and like coats and everything, but like still, you walk into class, your face is stinging.
Oh, like, chapped lips.
Yeah, you feel it. You're like, man, it's rough out there.
But then you're like, I can't wait till summer.
And it makes it sweeter.
Someone living in like the Arctic Circle in like an igloo looks at us and they're like, a bunch of pussies.
Literally.
Like, we're complaining about walking to class. Meanwhile, they're falling asleep in an ice cave.
Like totally naked, like just nice and warm.
Think about how bad they would do if you brought them to like islands all of a sudden in like the Caribbean or something. They would just die of heat.
Like, dude, absolutely.
It'd be terrible. Because, like, when we are in winter and then we get that one, like, spunky 60-degree day, we're all in shorts. So we're like, this is awesome. But, like, if we went from 0 degrees to 100 degrees, it'd be miserable. I can't do the heat.
Really?
I shut off, like, over 95. Everything's miserable. I'm sticky.
Dude, the sauna's been helping me. The sauna has been, like, making me function.
But that's dry heat. That's nice.
It is. It's I've never been in a steam room.
Steam room's intense.
You
take a deep breath and it's like just burns.
It like actually hurts your throat. You can't breathe through your nose, dude.
Yeah, you're taking in water to your lungs. I love it though. I like it more than the sauna.
There's one at the East Bridgewater Y.
Really?
Yeah, Vinny goes.
And you've done it?
No, Vinny does.
You've got to do it. It's like top 10 would recommend.
Would recommend.
Yeah, top 10.
Guys, I say we shoot this puppy.
This is candy.
Candy.
Some legal drinks, everyone.
Legal drinks, just water. Salud, boys.
Oh.
This is the OG vodka.
OG vodka.
Hello?
We got a monster.
I think someone is breaking into the studio.
You're going to have to punch the top of the door.
Hold on. I got you.
Should we just not talk?
Everyone,
we can just cut
please
this?
welcome Vincent Banco.
And Vinny.
Welcome, Vinny.
Just trying to cook some dinner.
Not
Enjoy.
trying to cook some dinner, trying to open some dinner.
Heat it up in the microwave. Yo, what's crazy is how much the microwave affected the antenna. We were watching a football game and we jack cable through some antenna, and there's only no, it's legal. They're selling in stores. But there's only one way to, like, one place in the whole house where you can put the antenna and it comes in. And when you turn the microwave on, it shuts it off. It fucks with the radio waves.
Dude, think about
What's going on in our brains?
What that might do to our bodies.
That's the good stuff.
Dude, I'm just thinking back to, like, being a little kid, like, warming up some pizza, standing 2 inches away from the microwave, like, watching it spin in there, waiting for it to heat up. That has got to be bad for you.
Dude, think about your phone. Like, think of how much electricity is just shooting into your brain.
Cellular signals are just flying through your brain.
Dude, and your brain is literally, like, communicating through electricity. Like, how is that not just making everything misfire?
I feel like when we're old, people are going to look at our generation, they're going to be like, I can't believe you guys used to use microwaves.
We're the guinea pigs of this shit,
I can't believe you guys used... Wait, you held cell phones up to your ears? Are you guys crazy?
Think about when people first started using Bluetooth. They were like, that's brain cancer.
Probably is.
They're probably right.
And, like, we'll never know.
We will soon enough.
Well, we'll know that something gave us brain cancer, but we're not going to know. We can't pinpoint exactly what it was.
It could be a number of things.
Yeah.
Dude, we're going to see a lot of people getting, like, genital cancer, I truly believe. Or, like, having misformed kids. Because of, like, having the cell phone in your pocket, like, for decades.
Yeah.
Dude, with misformed kids, my teacher told me today that there's a quote from Plato. And Plato was, like, all about... He was just like, oh, you have a special or deformed kid? Like, you just leave him out for the beasts. And it was common thought.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Dude, Sparta did, like, the same. Like, that's how it used to be. Like, dude, they literally in Sparta, they used to do this thing where they'd put a baby near the edge of a cliff. And, like, if the baby, like... They'd only keep the... Like, obviously, they'd only keep the babies that didn't climb off the cliff because they wanted naturally smart people. Like, naturally intuitive things.
Naturally lucky.
Dude, yeah, true. But, like, that's actually, like, a big thing. Like, when the baby becomes a human, like in our society, in our culture, like it begins at conception. Like as soon as you're
some people, depends on who you ask. Conservatives say this, liberals say this.
Well,
yeah,
or like 6 months when you can't get an abortion.
True, but either way, it's generally like it's birth. Let's say latest, it's birth. But in somewhere where like the baby's more likely to die, it could be a year old. Like they won't name the baby for a year because. Like, say 60% of babies die.
Jesus.
Right? It's just like, it's just what your culture dictates is what you end up believing.
Damn, imagine if we still had a bunch of kids dying at, like, within a year. It would be, like, heartbreaking.
Great segue to the topic of abortion, boys.
Oh, boy.
But to lose your kid before one, like, you're a new mother, and unless it's a lot of work, you're like, thank God. Oh, man. I gotta go dark.
You're just like, whew.
Thank God.
Seeing a baby grow up is awesome, though. Like, I have, what do I have now? 4 nephews? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
That's insane.
I have 4 nephews within 2 years. It's so sick.
I have 0 first cousins.
I'm still watching myself grow up.
True.
Still waiting for myself to grow up.
Still waiting for that.
I don't think it's gonna
I don't know
happen.
when that's supposed to happen.
25.
25, when your brain stops forming.
Yep.
You're still going to keep learning, though.
I hope I'm not an idiot still by that point.
I feel like you perpetually look back and you're like, I was an idiot, dude.
I know.
You'll be 40 and look back when you were 30 and be like, how was I so stupid?
A lot of people are like, oh, man, I wish I could be, like, 20. And they're like, well, never mind, not 20. Like, probably, like, 30.
Yeah, we don't think about how young we are. Like, because we're comparing it to, like, 15, like, that side. That's really all we know.
Yeah.
Like,
we're young compared to most people that... Dude, like, when I talk to relatives, like, family members, especially older ones, every time they're just like, man, I wish I was your age again. Like, you're in the prime of your life. And it really makes you think. Like, you don't realize that you're in probably the best of times that you look back on and really fondly remember.
I hope not. I hope that I continue to have the best times, but I definitely understand your point.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying that we're peaking right now.
I've already peaked. I peaked in high school.
But like I already miss the days that you and I were living together in Shea Durgan, the freshman dorms with Bobby.
When you showed me the Wagon video the other day, it was on Brett's camera. I was like, I miss Wagon already.
It was just from less than a year ago. We were living in there.
5054.
It feels like an eternity.
It does.
That's so shitty because my brother had like a lot of good friends in college, and now like I got lunch with one of his friends, and I am like a lot closer to him now than my brother is. Like I'm more updated on his life. And it's like if we, like, I want to do a better job of staying in touch with you guys, but if we spread, it's like all you have is family now. Like, you don't really have a lot of friends. It's going to be hard to have friends when you got a family and stuff, unless they're in the same line of work. But
plus, it's like who knows where we'll live.
Yeah.
Like, you could live in Hawaii. You could live with the Inuits up there.
I would love to live in Hawaii.
I'll probably commit a major crime and have to flee to Brazil.
Oh. Brazil's gorgeous.
They're going through some shit right now.
Yeah, they're slowly getting over it. But at one point, their dollar was like 3.5 of our. Well, other way around.
Ooh.
My brother was gonna buy property there.
Yeah.
For like $100,000, he could get like acres in a building.
I'm sure, dude.
Yeah. But there's a lot of places in the world going through some shit. Venezuela, right now, is terrible. Like they're about to have a civil war.
Oh. Yeah, that place is like not good.
It's beautiful there too.
Puerto Rico.
We were looking at a map today in international management, and like what you would call Central Asia is just a shithole. Like Turkey, Syria, like all those places. I was just
Syria.
I was looking at it. I was like, every place that I've heard in like my very sheltered brain that's like bad is all in the same place.
Yep.
So it's like they can't even handle it.
Now, are you saying that like it's the civilization? It's war torn. Okay.
Yeah, war torn. And Africa right now is like, because we were talking about the percent chance that like, or how you would pick where you want to start your business and like the risk factors in every place, risk versus reward. And like Africa is terrible right now because of all like the violence and the lack of government.
But it's also like that risk versus reward, dude. Like you're risking it, but if Africa like comes up and becomes a world superpower, like
but that takes
centuries.
Yeah, it takes a couple hundred years. I hope. I mean, I'll obviously never see it, but I hope that like the U.S. not in all crashes, but like I hope that other places pass us quickly.
I feel like it's all gonna revolve around birth rate. Like as like cultures as like places become more civilized and richer, like the population shifts to more old people, and the growth rate actually like
that's
stops.
bad though in terms of social security or anything like that.
Like there's that like I forget where it was. It was some Nordic country. I think it was Sweden, but they had a commercial for people to have kids.
Yeah.
Like they actually need children.
Yeah, places like that, the mothers, you ask like 90% of, or not, I just give a bullshit stat, but you ask a lot of people and they're like, oh, I don't want any kids, like maybe one.
Yeah, like
and
why would I have a kid?
With intelligence and like the higher rate of IQ in a society comes lower birth rate. Because like think about us, we're pretty smart and we're now having kids at like 30. Like 30 is a good age, unless you're in the South.
Because it's so safe, like. Yeah. You can reasonably conclude that you will be alive and well at 35. You don't have to just pop that kid out.
Yeah. So in class the other day, my teacher was talking about how in the 1700s, the average, he's like, people at like 7 years old, and he's like 1/5 of your life, saying that like you lived at 35. I was like, that is not true. But I just sat there. It's like some classes aren't even worth your time because like you just get taught by some idiots.
Well, like what I heard was that the birth rate is actually, it's due to outliers that it's falsely set low.
Yeah, so it's infant mortality.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the average rate is 30, but that's because freaking 60% of people die before they're 1. So like, I feel like the human body is designed to live 70 years.
Yeah. Yes, at least. Women are now like 86 and men are like low 80s. I think.
Is that a US
no, women live longer.
I
don't know. I didn't hear the numbers you said.
Is that what I meant to say women are like in the like low 80s. They're supposed to live too. And I think men are like 76 or something. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I know that it's like anywhere from 70 to 90 is like a good range where we're supposed to live, and women live a little longer.
Is that a United States statistic?
Yeah,
or a
that's
worldwide
U.S.
statistic?
U.S. You can't even give a worldwide, really. I don't even know how you would collect that data. But I don't know. I just feel like it's terrible for teachers to just be misinforming their kids, because it's like, he's probably not meaning to. But I'm just like, all these kids now are going to think, and I probably should have stepped in, but it's just a class where it's like not worth your time. It's a very under like, I don't know, qualified teacher.
You as much.
Underqualified teacher,
Yeah.
and he's tenured. And in the question where I asked, like, what pisses you off? 10 years. What pisses me off? Because, like, think about your tenured teachers in high school that were, like, 80 and should not have been teaching you. And you go back and meet them now, and you're smarter than them in a way.
Yours just went off.
Oh. But I feel smarter than a lot of teachers I had.
Can we pause it for 2 seconds?
All right, are we going?
Do we remember what we were talking about?
Yes, tenure. I'm going to get us
Okay.
back on it.
Cool. Beautiful. All right, everyone. We just took a brief intermission, but we're back now.
So I just went on a long spiel and made probably a lot of ignorant points. But how do you guys feel about tenure?
I think it works very well for professors that know what they're doing and know how to use their tenure for the greater good. And I feel like other professors use their tenure in a really shit way.
But do you think that it's like that you should allow a teacher to be able to dictate both of those areas? Like if a professor is gonna work his ass off even through tenure, then you would keep hiring him anyways. But I feel like tenure allows that teacher, if he chooses to just, or she, just slack.
See, that's the thing. I don't know enough about the institution of education to be able to make like an educated comment on tenure, because there's a lot of times where I see professors using it to its best advantage, and I'm really happy that they have tenure. Like for instance, Professor Lamba, I really like the way he uses his tenure in a lot of ways, because
Really?
he's
You would
like,
you would definitely be an outlier in that statement.
he's totally a troll in a lot of ways, and I love him because of that. But like, he also says things that I think the university doesn't want professors saying certain things that tenure allows them to say. And I think it's important that they have that like free outlet where the university can't remove them because they're sharing controversial opinions. But then there's the other hand where some professors will use tenure to be able to slack off and just kind of shoot the shit and not really maximize their potential. So I totally see the good and the bad sides, which is why like I really don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I think that even for me, I would have to refer to another professor. One of my professors is tenured, and he hates the idea of tenure, but like he will back it up forever. But he says it's a big difference to be tenured in college at the state university and tenured at like a high school. It's a whole nother level somehow.
I look at it from a teacher's point of view, and it's like, but that's what they're gunning for. Like, I talk to some teachers, and he's like, well, I don't know if I'm, like, going to be working next semester. Like, I have nothing lined up. Like, I'm not going to know until, like, the end of the semester. Like, there's no job security.
Yeah, I was just going to say job security is the good side of tenure. I think that professors should get signed for, like, maybe an 8-year contract.
Like an athlete.
Okay, I like that.
Like, I think the 8-year contract is cool, and, like, in order to get fired after that, there'd have to be, I guess I'm describing tenure in a way, but like there'd have to be like good reason, or they're just like, I think that you've had your time here. Because I've had professors in high school that were a little like batshit crazy, and they were like 90 years old, and my parents had them, and it's just like nobody likes this guy. But I do like the fact of job security, which Bridgewater does terribly at, because the way the way that we're able to get like to go to school for so cheap is because teachers are all part-time.
They just shuffle them.
They fuck over a lot of professors here.
Yep. But
Did that just shut off?
I don't know.
Yeah, as far as tenure goes, like you said, there's definitely a lot of negative aspects to it. The one thing, like, where it really takes away from me, I love how if the university is fucking over the student body, the professor has the ability to speak out against the institution without fear of being fired. That's what I really like about it, and that's the main reason that I would love to see it remain established, is because if the university like becomes this weird totalitarian point where they just really don't care about the students and they're all about the profits, the professor has the ability to let you know that's what's happening. And I've had professors that voice that opinion because they're tenured. And I've never had a professor that is not tenured that will share that opinion.
Now, there's something I wanted to talk about. It's one of my notes here.
Give it to me.
I see you guys have these electronic notepads. I have a nice little...
Dude, that was a big point in my summer is getting back to writing things down, because I think that the physical like movement of your arm makes it drill into your head better.
Bullshit.
I
don't
never
know.
take notes on the
Something
computer.
about reading it. I mean, writing it down is like sticks better.
It does, dude. It does. I do not
Tech.
remember anything I write.
I'm
I
all
type.
tech.
Okay, go. Oh shit, I'm crooked as. All right, go. Tell me.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about is, I forget who dubbed it this, but it's called the European disassociation, and essentially what it is like people from the more civilized, like quote unquote civilized, like industrial nations, they tend to not associate themselves with their body. They think of themselves as this like ethereal like I, and their body is just like this meat vehicle
Yeah.
that like they have to use. Like
So their brain is the eye.
exact. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Do you?
I think that if you took my brain out and you put me in like this little conservation place and like put me into a video game like we've talked about, I think that I would still believe that I am me, like without the body.
But what if we put you in a really unhealthy, sickly body?
I think that I would still be me, but I would be pissed about it. Like I would.
I feel like that would change your mentality a lot.
It would, but like that's still me deciding that I'm upset at this new body, in my opinion.
What are you without a body at all? Like literally
Consciousness, your brain.
it's just out there. I feel like that needs to like that. There needs to be a body.
Well, like the body is the ability for the brain to like explore on its own. I feel like it can control. Imagine if we didn't even need the connection and like if we didn't have to manipulate, our brain would probably be able to function more in just thought.
You could just be like Halo Forge mode.
Yeah,
just float around.
just create things.
No, but like I was reading Carl Jung last night, and he was talking about how like the perfect like animal to like the perfect comparison of an animal for like the Europeans is the eagle, because its facial features are so sharp and mean looking and menacing, and it's always just scanning and just looking for what it wants. It's always just on to the next thing. It's never just relaxed and being. It's always the next. It's always the goal. And like I feel like that comes with like not being in your, because if you're just in your body, like you're just like, I'm comfortable, man. I'm just gonna hang here like under this tree.
I totally believe in getting into your body, but I think that I'm still I without my body. But I don't know. That's like a huge debate, and I don't know if anyone's come to a conclusion.
No,
Like,
there'll
there's
never be
Yeah,
a
there's.
conclusion.
Well, unless you remove the brain from the body and allow it to live.
I read Chris Hitchens on the book is called Mortality, and he writes it when he has throat cancer and he's like dying, and he writes it as he's dying, and he says he essentially agrees with what Chris is saying. He says, I always thought of myself as this like other thing, but now I realize that when my body dies, I am no more. Like I am nothing more than a body. Like I disappear as soon as this meat vehicle's gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you heard the song "Lonely" by Akon? It's like lonely, I have no body.
Is that Akon? I feel like that's a Akon. Like,
I
does he
think it's
cover
Akon.
something?
Wait, it might not be Akon. I might just.
I was-
That's definitely a cover.
I was just laughing because when you said throat cancer, I'm like, ooh, speaking of throat cancer, just pass that over to you.
As you're smoking tobacco.
Oh, I'm gonna be spitting.
You're like,
This is great for my cold. I actually bought this pipe in Mexico, man. It's hand carved.
You bought that?
it is Akon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Akon's a good dude. Have you seen what he's done in Africa?
Nope.
He has brought electricity to like millions.
That's so sick.
Yeah, he just kind of stopped like creating and just brought his wealth to
Is he
Africa.
doing like a grid type thing, or is he doing?
I'm not sure.
'Cause, like,
I don't
I-
know enough about it, but I just know that he's like actually using his wealth for the betterment of his people.
I saw the whole thing with like solar panels now is that you don't need to like lock onto a grid anymore. Like you can just throw a solar panel and just like power your one village without having to like connect to like the national grid.
It's so funny what they consider like powering. It's like there'll be one light bulb in one little shack, and like you can turn it on. They're like, we got power.
It's like, let's go. That's beautiful.
And to us, we're like, we have power, but if we don't have internet, then what's the point?
Yeah, like, no Wi-Fi, I'm out.
No, wow.
Think of how much like it changes your quality of life to have a washing machine. Imagine if every Sunday you had to fill up a big tub full, and imagine if you didn't even have a hose. Like you literally have to go and collect enough water to fill up a tub, and then literally get like that freaking rack thing. I don't even know what you call it.
That's what Vinny does.
That's what Vinny does.
He doesn't like our dryer. I don't like our dryer.
Oh, that's why this doubles as his underwear room.
Yeah, you find random Vinny undies. But yeah, no, our dryer's fucked.
Is it?
Yeah, it like makes scuffs in your clothes. I've lost easily like $100 in clothing because of that thing. A couple of dress shirts. It gets caught and like rust stains on it. I want to talk to the landlords about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we gotta get fixed.
Speaking of landlords, rent's due. I just realized.
Oh, I gotta pay that. When's?
Tomorrow's the last day of the month.
Okay, so we go to 30 in this month.
30 days has September, April, June, and November.
Adulting, dude. Rent,
dude,
utilities,
having bills
groceries.
is gross.
It is, dude.
It eats away at your soul.
I want to be a freeloader forever.
To live off the land.
Like, hey, mama, can I come home?
I could be a baby
Mom,
forever.
can you wash my clothes?
But you're able to save so much more of your income, or at least spend it on things that you want to spend it on without bills.
Absolutely,
like,
dude.
When you're paying $1,000 a month in like groceries and rent and utilities, it's just like that's $1,000 out of your salary of the month. And before I could spend that $1,000 on like a drone. Like, sweet, now I got a toy. And now I just can't do it.
I never realized the value of a home cooked meal until I was away from home, and my mom would come by the dorm, and she'd be like, "Oh, I made you this. Like, here you go. It's a whole pot of like." She would give me like Thanksgiving dinners in these pots that she would bring to our dorms, and it would be the best thing ever because compared to like a campus meal, nothing beats Mama's home cooking.
Dude,
man.
you don't like ECC?
I'm
no.
just kidding.
Marcelina's home cooking.
Not gonna lie, I do love ECC because of the convenience
and the quantity.
And the quantity, exactly. I'm
glad I got away from quantity.
Not only the quantity, but I love going there and having it already prepared. And there's a full meal waiting for me. It's just sitting in a platter, and I just have to scoop it up and put it in my plate.
Just eat it.
There. It's there for
no
me to
cleanup
eat.
either.
No cleanup.
That's a big one.
You put your dishes on a literal conveyor belt, and like it's
because cooking is the fun part.
Consciousness.
Yeah, cooking is fun. I prefer to cook
all day, dude.
Everyone
someone else cleans.
Cook.
That's the rule in here. It's like if you don't cook, you clean.
Yep, that's a good rule.
But
I got
what about Crimson?
Thing. Crimson. What about Crimson?
Like, how did you... Like, you were much more of an ECC lover.
Oh, dude, Crimson was literally just snacks at night.
Yeah, there's no, like...
Tendies
there's
and
no
fries.
Fries at midnight.
No sustainable meals at Crimson. You just go there when you're starving and you need a quick... Not even starving. You go there when you got the munchies and you need a quick meal.
Yeah, there's not enough food. Like, I'm a big kid. Like, I eat a lot of food. And I personally have never been filled. Like, I would always buy mozzarella sticks, tendies, and fries. Because that would just, like, start to fill me.
How unhealthy that is. We would never eat that.
I would eat that every night.
I know. Like, and sometimes,
McDonald's
too,
every
because
night.
I would never finish mine. Because they would always hook it up and give me, like twice the
bring
chicken.
it in.
Yeah.
But, like, that's so bad for you. I would not eat that now. Now I'm down to 2 meals a day. One around, like, anywhere from 10 a.m. to noon. And it's just a disgusting amount of eggs and veggies and avocado. It's like the best meal, and then I eat dinner, and that's it.
It's just hunger management, though.
Yeah, like Wim Hof, he eats once at 5, right? And he eats whatever he wants. I like that. I've enjoyed fasting.
See, I want to be there with you because I like that, but I also like the idea of having a diet where you just eat slowly throughout the day, and you don't like have this huge meal at the end of the day. Yeah, a grazing diet. Like you eat like maybe like an egg or two in the morning. Have some like nuts and berries and maybe like a small meal for lunch, and then just keep grazing until dinner, and you have a small dinner, and that's it.
Mark Sisson is actually against that. He says that the ideal diet, and this is obviously one man's opinion and a world of a billion experts, but he says that you do like a hard workout and then you eat right after it, so it's almost like you just won a hunt. And like now that you've worked out, you give your body fuel back. But he says that the grazing thing is almost like a myth.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, this is just one guy's.
Yeah, I feel like the truth exists in a balance between the two, like a small amount of grazing throughout the day, and then like a moderate to large meal at the end of the day is probably I feel like it's probably the way humans were programmed to eat.
Yeah, I don't like having my dinner as big, because when would you hunt at night?
Well, not only that, but after you eat a huge dinner, you don't want to do anything else. You just want to go to bed.
like video games.
Yeah, like you just want to watch TV or some shit.
Dude,
like,
I generally eat dinner like 9 to 10. Because like I'm generally not home, and then like mom has put a meal aside. And like then I just like just throw it down and just like
shout out Malali.
Shout out
dude. Brett's mom. She is an amazing woman.
She has a big part in this podcast as a thing in general.
She really does.
All these curtains and decorations here, like she hooks it up.
She bought the yin yang symbol.
Oh, dude, she's like one of the most supporting mothers.
She is, dude. She's like, oh, that's what you want to do? All right, let's make that happen. I just realized we never lit this candle. We're fucking around, dude.
Might as well take this second shot while
I think
we're
we
here.
should.
So, second what? When did that get filled?
As soon as
we never took the first one.
To all the listeners, this is the pre-game podcast. We're all going to the bar right after this. So
We're going to
boy.
Barrett's.
Yeah, going to Barrett's.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys. Salud.
Salute.
Oh, dude, should be an interesting.
Anyone
day.
here who goes to BSU and hasn't gone to Barrett's yet, please do.
It's beautiful. The outside place is so nice.
It's a wonderful place.
It's a good bar.
It was interesting to go there during the summer when like it's dead. And we go there and the whole thing's empty and we get to like enjoy the whole scene and
Have a meal.
yeah, like eat a meal there and get a beer. And then you come in here now and it's like you can't go in that place without being mauled by like 50 people that you know.
Have like a bouncer just like scan you over.
Yeah. To like pat you down and I don't know. Barrett's is
They pat you down?
no, but like I don't know, having the cops there is
sketchy.
just
A weird
dude, the
vibe.
cop was the biggest dick to me the other night.
Yeah.
Desiree couldn't get in, so we like were waiting for her and trying to figure out what we were gonna do, and the cop's like, "In or out, pick it."
Man.
I'm like, dude, I'm waiting 2 seconds. He's like, get in or get out, or I'll have to like take you. And I was like,
Take me.
Take me away.
take me.
Take me, daddy.
But it's just ridiculous.
Let's talk about that weird authoritarian like feeling
Feed
that people
off
get.
it.
They love
And not
it,
all
dude.
cops, because I don't want to like bash on all cops, because there's so many of them that are like truly great people and they really want to keep the safety. But there's that
Bridgewater cops.
There's
Oh,
I'll suck it back.
dude.
there's that number of cops, man, that like they get off of that feeling. Of
Well, it's
power.
because they felt powerless for so long, and all of a sudden they just get a badge and the ability to do whatever they want.
There are a couple cool Bridgewater cops though.
Is there?
When I got I
one.
got in trouble, there was one older guy who was like, "Dude, I'm sorry. Like they're absolutely
Yeah.
fucking you right now." Like,
Really?
yeah, he
dude.
was like, "I'm sorry. I can't do much about it."
Yeah,
and I
you-
was like, like, at least I'm like, at least there's one cool guy.
Yeah, you guys know that I've had many encounters with these BSU cops. So like I'd have the most ammunition to like spew over them. But I'm not gonna lie, most of them are really cool guys and they're genuinely just trying to like keep the safety up. But like, fuck man, there are so many of them out there. There's probably like 25% of them that are just shit people, and they paint a bad picture over the rest of them. You know?
I've had a lot of good interactions with cops, but I've had one good interaction with the Bridgewater cop, and it was a crossing guard.
Bridgewater campus cop,
Yeah.
definitely. We should specify.
A crossing guard, those are just volunteers. Like Carlton. Oh wait, why the fuck?
No,
did I
he was
just-
in a full police uniform.
Some of them,
His
some of them are
cruiser
real
was parked
cops.
Why did I just call him Carlton?
I don't know.
Is that his name?
Is that from
Why am I blanking?
full like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Carlton?
Yeah, that's, yeah, exactly. I think that is it. Why am I blanking?
I really don't know.
Carlton. Right on the track team.
Yeah, Cam Carlton.
Yeah, Jesus, that just sounded so.
I didn't know who
wrong.
you were talking about.
For some reason, that sounded like so wrong. Yeah, I was on a run and I saw him. He was being like a crossing guard at the one that
Oh,
we were doing
really?
the big stretch at that day when we had our legs out
Yeah.
near Moakley. Yeah.
And then there was that other cop that one time I was working out at the track, and he like walked up to me with his hand on his taser, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like sweating and like workout clothes. I'm like, "Dude, I'm working out." Like I got my hands up. I'm like, "Calm down, everything's fine." He's like, "What are you like? Are you a student here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a student." "Where's your ID?" I don't have it on me. I'm working out. He's like, all right, get out of here.
That's a big thing that pisses me off with the gym. It's like I run to the gym. I don't want to run with my Connect card and my phone and all that. Like I just want to walk into the gym and be able to work out.
Right.
But you need to bring like all
there
this
should be some scan thing. Like take picture. Like when
My
I go to
face.
Y, I take a picture of my card
Facial
and I can just
recognition.
scan that. So much easier.
Yeah, but I don't even want to hold the card.
You don't even. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I want nothing. Like
Not even a phone.
I don't bring my phone when I run.
Wow.
A lot of the time, I just have my watch.
Dude, sometimes I just stuff like $5 in my pocket. I'm like, in case I like need a water.
I always have an emergency thing. Like in my knife like sheath, I always keep an emergency 20. Like just in case we're in the middle of the woods and we get to a storm, like we need something.
In case you encounter like a rogue bear, you just pay him off.
Dude. A rogue dealer. It's
like, yo, you got some pot?
yo,
Dude?
can I get a dub, bro?
Wait, who was with me when we were in Maine and we were in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot? The guy came up to a Ford Explorer and he's like, "You want to buy?" He's like, "I saw your plate. You're from Mass. You want to buy some weed?" We're like,
Fuck
"What?"
no.
Dude,
Like,
on 2 separate occasions, I've had people walk up to an open window and say, "Do you want to buy some pot?"
Like, are you trying to entrap me? Like,
And both times I've said yes. No, I'm kidding. No, I've said no both times. Yeah, it seems like entrapment. It's like, this is a little sketchy, dude.
I don't think I could ever buy weed from someone that would say, like, just walks right up to you, like, "Hey, you want to buy some pot, dude?" No.
Thanks for the offer.
Thank you, though.
Yo, I'm gonna give some shout outs. If you are still listening, and I feel like this crew would be, Brian and Chris out at Westfield. Those dudes, they will take you in under their wing like whenever you hit them up. They're good people. And they're always down for an adventure. Brooke and Brennan,
Oh, yeah.
the little siblings, they're like, they will actually listen to this whole thing. And Brennan asked me for the link to it. Like, they're just cool-ass people, and I hope that, like, I can be a good role model for them.
And you are, dude.
And I hope that they learn from any mistake that I make, as I have for, like, Jen, Ryan, all of my other siblings.
Dude, let me just stop you for a second. I literally love you, brother and sister. They are like, I feel like they are like my little brother and sister.
They are. Like, they love you, too. Like, Brennan was like, "Yeah, when do I get to see Brett?" He's like, "I better see him before I go back to Missouri."
Dude, I love that kid, man.
Yeah, we did some exploring with him.
Yep.
And then the very last one, to bring it full circle, Colin Loftus.
Oh, shout out Colin Loftus.
Dude, Colin Loftus is
Colin.
one of the most intelligent people, person that I know.
Yep.
The man's a genius, and he's fighting through
And caring, dude.
Yeah. Dude, you know he's taking job interviews now and stuff. Like, he's back on his feet.
That's what I love, dude. I just want to see that kid just doing his thing and like
He
deserves every good thing that comes to him.
I know. He's one of the strongest people I know.
I love that kid. Colin, buddy, we love you and can't wait till you're on this.
Love you, bro.
Shout out, my dude.
I know. When he's on here, he's going to shock the world.
He's gonna, dude.
He's going to be like, "Oh, Korea? This is what's happening." Like, he knows everything about everything.
Yeah, he's a policy man.
He's a smart kid.
We got to have him over soon.
We really do.
It's
not even my house, but we do.
Let me do a quick shout out to Andrew and Julia, my sisters, trippy girls stuck in a totalitarian
Mass Maritime.
grinding away at Mass Maritime. You guys are doing your thing, and you're doing great.
They are awesome.
I can't wait to see what you become.
I only got one shout out today. And it's a meaningful one. My boy, Sean Carver, buddy. We love you, and we can't wait till you're home, dude. June, you're done. Dude, you want to talk about totalitarian? Boys in the Marines. Never mind frickin', what is it, Mass Maritime?
Mass Maritime?
Dude,
Marines makes Mass Maritime look like fucking breakfast.
Dude, I think they have a room of toilets where everyone looks at each other and just shits at the same time.
Circle of toilets.
I want to poop there.
Sean, can you confirm or deny that? Hit me up after this.
Dude, I thought your shout out was going to be Bria. Dude, we all did our siblings. You're like, Sean
Carver. Bria's most certainly not listening.
Well, unfortunately, I think we need to wrap this up. We just pounded out like an hour and 20 or something.
Yeah. Dude, I want to touch on one quick topic, and I think it's a good way to wrap this up.
Perfect. 6 hours later.
I feel like that people in their day-to-day lives are missing, like, meaningful conversation. Like, I truly feel like people just, like, go through talking with polite niceties. Like, "Oh, blah, blah, have a nice day. Yep. Oh, how are you?" And it just, like, just turns into this dull, just constant.
I think that it hits that, and then when you're actually friends, you bond over like drama, over hating the same person. Like
Absolutely.
When I listen to a
Talking
lot
about
of girls talk, and this isn't like a shot at anyone, but it's just like a lot of the time it's just like, oh, this is what's pissing me off, blah, blah, blah. Instead of like, so what do you think about like whatever? And I think that our friend group is unique in that way. Like we have a lot of people in our group that can just like hold a conversation and really challenge your views, which makes you stronger in your own views.
And not only that, why we're so great, but dude, we all share love like crazy.
We have no problem being like, I fucking love you.
I love you, and I love you, and I love you,
both.
my dude.
Yeah, let's get this in on the GoPro.
Boys, that was podcast number 2.
Now it's
Awesome.
time to go drink at
Now it's time
Barrett's.
to have a damn good night. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. I don't know why you guys watch this, but you do. And literally, you guys watched through the whole thing. So many people I wouldn't expect to.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, on the shout-out train, quick shout-out to Julian Williams. Good friend.
Who's that?
Remember Julian that came over to Wagon when we were filming that project?
Oh, Julian.
Julian Caesar.
Every time I hear his name, I think of physically fit, physically fit, physically
Dude,
fit.
the wake up song, dude.
Julian came up to me today in the RCC, and he said, dude, I watched your podcast, and I absolutely loved it. It was
Wow.
so organic, and you guys just really hit it off well, and I'm looking forward to listening to the next episode.
See, that's what I'm saying, dude. People just vibe with it, and they listen to it for like, I don't know why. We're just sitting here shooting the shit.
Yeah, Julian is a good dude. I like him.
Shout out, Julian. Thank you for listening.
All right.
I love you too, and above that, I fucking love you viewers, guys.
Thank you all for tuning in. This
Yeah.
has been podcast.
And thank you guys for
episode 2.
having me as a guest.
Dude, please.
I
You'll
hope we
be
can do this again.
absolutely-
Chris Demers, thank you for joining us.
Bring it in.
The man, the myth, the roommate.